Long ago there was a small village down the hill. The village was located close to a river. This was a clean river that flowed through the valley. The river was so clean that the villagers came to fetch water to cook, do house chores, and drink from the river. This river was their only source of water, and no one was allowed to swim or wash beside the river so as to avoid contamination and as they believed getting the river angry. Times passed and the people were at great peace, not until one day one of the villagers fell ill. Usually, when the people of village fell ill, they would go to the village's physician so he can treat them with herbs and native medicine. But on this occasion, his herbs and medicine seemed to yield no positive results. This was an illness he had never encountered before, and this illness was spreading like a virus. News got to the king, and the king was worried. He called for a council meeting to discuss the situation at hand and come up with solutions to the problem. One of the elders suggested that they called on a great physician from a neighboring village. This physician was good with herbs and native medicine. He was known across many lands for his great work. He once proffered solution to an ailment that struck a village many years ago. The king agreed and he was sent for. The physician honored the king's invitation and came into the scene. At this point one of the king's son was already a victim of this illness that struck the village. The physician came to the palace and examined the young prince. He offered him some herbs, and after a while, the young prince felt better and regained some strength and appetite. By the following morning, as the physician was about leaving, he heard that the prince woke up with spots on his body, pale eyes, and little strength, so he had to remain in bed. The physician was baffled, so he went in to check on the prince and tried all he could, but this time, there was no positive results. Amidst his confusion, a sudden news came to the king. The messenger told the king of how one of the villagers went early to the river and realized that the river color had changed and that it was emitting a very unpleasant smell. On hearing this, the physician became aware of the problem, but he could not understand what had caused this lot on the villagers and the river. He encouraged the king to look into the matter from a spiritual perspective, and then he left. The king again called for a meeting, and this time they had to act fast as this was now becoming a matter of life and death, as this illness had spread across the village, and those affected were getting very ill and close to the point of losing their lives. The chief priest was summoned and was told to consult the oracles in order to understand the cause of this tragedy, and seek for a resolution on behalf of the village. The chief priest did as he was told and concluded that they needed to do a ritual at the river. Everyone was baffled as this has never been done before. The only known accustomed ritual of the river was ensuring no one took their bath in the river, washed beside it or did something to contaminate it. But considering the urgency of this matter they all agreed and a ritual was conducted beside the river with the hope of appeasing the river. The following day they went back to check and nothing changed. They got really baffled and worried. One of the council members suggested that they called on a high priest from a neighboring village immediately. This high priest was known to communicate with different spirits, and he has assisted many kings on different matters, including fortifications in times of war, and these kings were victorious. The high priest was called upon, and luckily for the villagers, he responded and came into the scene. As he arrived, they went straight to the river, and the high priest conducted some rituals, of which he told them not to worry.